What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz, Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, and this is your Raw review for, I'm not even going to cheat, the 19th of May, 2014. My camera's being crooked, and that's always an awesome way to start. Really good Raw tonight. Raw over in the UK, so, you know, people in the UK think they're special and they deserve a special show, and that's what they got tonight. We got a lot of build towards Payback, which I'm incredibly excited about. We got a lot of build in several different title divisions, which is awesome. All the main stories got some time, got some build, got some good, some story development, shall we say, and a lot of things. Why? Beeping at me already? Like, is this a thing, really? Just a really good Raw overall. Before I get into that, I will say, once again, to all of you who are not giving me crap for not being a Daniel Bryan fan, the response, as I've said before, for the Ask the Phoenix concept has been fantastic. I think I'm approaching 100 questions for the May edition of Ask the Phoenix. The last day you will have to submit questions is the 25th, as it will be every month. So if you have a question that you haven't asked yet, if you have a series of questions, if you were somebody like Cheney or Abel who like to give me series of questions, or the 733ism is another one who likes to give me a random series of questions. If you haven't submitted them yet, do not wait, do not delay. The 25th is the last day that you'll be able to submit them. I'll probably be doing it next weekend, with next weekend being the 25th, and we will get it out to you in no short order. Raw starts out with an amazing visual. Not only Bray Wyatt in the ring with the lantern in the spotlight, but all the lanterns slash cell phone slash lighters in the crowd, not only shining, not only creating a great visual, but moving as people are swaying. So it's almost, I don't want to be corny when I say this, but it is kind of accurate. It was almost a river of light in the darkness while Bray Wyatt was cutting his promo. Bray Wyatt cuts a wicked promo about when he was in school. There was a teacher there that didn't like him and said that he was pure evil. He goes on to say that he is evil. He is a necessary evil. He is the kind of evil that evens out the effects of liars and false heroes like John Cena. Everybody's a hero when they dream. They dream about being a superhero, having superpowers, fixing the world, yada yada yada. And then we wake up and realize that we're not superheroes, and then we get angry. It's all good, and it all leads up to the announcement that John Cena is going to be facing Luke Harper in the main event tonight. It is all good, it's all amazing. He's about to say, you know, something to the effect of Luke Harper's going to destroy you when John Cena's music hits. John Cena's music hits, the Wyatt family go up the ramp to intercept him. He sneaks up very heelishly on Bray Wyatt, hits a quick attitude adjustment, and runs away like a bitch. Oh yes. Oh yes. That's our opening segment. Wicked promo by Bray Wyatt like usual. As we'll see later in the night, he's not the only one in the Wyatt family that can deliver a great promo. This was a great promo. The fans in London are in love with Bray Wyatt, and that's fantastic. And like I say, the visual with the lights and whatnot was fantastic as well. First match we have is Cesaro versus Sheamus, but Paul Heyman is out first, and he comes out, and when he starts to do his typical spiel, I'm Paul Heyman, and my client, Brock Lesnar, and the people want to chant it along with him, which a lot of heels, I think, would just smile and let the crowd go along with it, kind of like a Bray Wyatt effect. Paul Heyman doesn't. He says, okay, no, you want to do this with me? You want to have fun with me? I'm the bad guy. You're not supposed to do that. Lies down in the center of the ring and says, who am I? Who am I? I'm the Undertaker at WrestleMania. Fantastic. And then goes back into his spiel about how his client, Brock Lesnar, defeated the Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania, and his other client is about to, you know, destroy the United States champion because they brawled to a draw on main event, I think last week or the week before, which is fantastic because nobody cares about Sheamus as the US champion. Cesaro defeats Sheamus in this match. It's a good match. This is the kind of match that Sheamus is not quite horrible at, if I can say that. Obviously, just fantastic stuff by Cesaro. The way that he catches people with the European uppercut when they're in the air, it's better. Okay, and you guys know me as an Orton fan. It's better than when Orton does a mid-air RKO by miles. He actually gets him in a pin off a German suplex after a distraction from Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman going out of, pulling out of his skin on the apron there to distract Sheamus. Sheamus gets Paul Heyman's jacket thrown at him, German suplex, and the right guy wins. Oh yes, all I'm asking, WWE, please rescue the United States Championship from Sheamus. Put it in the willing and deserving and rightful hands of Cesaro with Paul Heyman at his side. You might actually get some meaning back into that championship, as opposed to just being something that was taken away from the Shield by Triple H. We then have it announced that we are going to have a Beat the Clock challenge for the Intercontinental Championship. This is phenomenal. We have a potential good feud going into Payback for the United States Championship, and now we have, once again, like we did with Bad News Barrett, we have a story and a set of you have to do this if you want a title shot. You know, the stuff that they never did with Daniel Bryan when John Cena handed him a title shot. There was a tournament that Bad News Barrett won to get a shot at the Intercontinental Championship. There's a Beat the Clock challenge to see who's going to get the next title shot at Payback. This is why everybody else is seeming more legit than Daniel Bryan. Oh, and he hurt himself a little bit, so that's also kind of a thing. Big E Langston defeated Ryback in a match that was way, way better than it deserved to be, I have to say. Not a lot of interference by Curtis Axel, which is what you would presume, but the Beat the Clock challenge is won by Big E Langston, and the time to beat is 5 minutes and 2 seconds. Then we have an odd segment. I mean, I guess ultimately this segment is supposed to elicit the response of everybody wants to be Fandango right now. We have R-Truth come out with the Funkadactyls. Fine. I guess they're the Truthadactyls now, maybe, perhaps. Who knows? And then we have Fandango coming out with Layla. So it's like, okay, R-Truth's going to fight Fandango, and they both have chicks in their corners. It kind of makes sense. The Funkadactyls were kind of coming out with Xavier Woods at some point, and Xavier Woods has this loose partnership with R-Truth. I guess it's okay. As Fandango and Layla are coming out, they announced that it's a mixed tag. Now, there's no third girl with Fandango and Layla, so it's like, okay, which one of the Funkadactyls is going to be R-Truth's partner? It doesn't really matter, because before the match starts, we have the return of Summer Rae, who comes in, gets in Layla's face, grabs friggin' Fandango by the back of the head, and makes out with him, a la what Fandango and Layla have been doing for the past 2 weeks. The girls brawl, it's fine, there's no match, that's also fine. I don't know, I guess maybe we get Layla versus Summer Rae, which is another match that doesn't necessarily have Total Divas implication. We have the potential for a rivalry here and a potential for a rivalry over the Divas Championship later on, neither one of which are directly related to anything that's happening on Total Divas. That's a good thing, isn't it? Oh, yes. Bo Dallas is debuting this Friday. Apparently he was delayed a week for whatever reason. They think it's going to be better this week, yada yada yada. Then we hear Daniel Bryan's music, but oh yes, it's Stephanie McMahon trolling the UK audience like a boss, doing the yes chants and all this and all that. And she says you really should chant yes for Daniel Bryan, because he is the champion, he just married his beautiful wife, he's popular, his catchphrase is inspiring people the world over, yada yada yada. But she says, I'm afraid and then she stops, and then she says, I'm sure somebody else can say it better, and runs multiple clips of Bad News Barrett saying that he's got some bad news, which is fine. She's been contemplating stripping Bryan of the title and awarding it to Kane. Everybody boos. She says, or I could give it to Bad News Barrett, and everybody cheers. And they say, or Batista, and everybody boos. She says, if I was giving it to who would truly deserve it, I would give it to my husband, the Game, the Cerebral Assassin, the whatever, the COO, Triple H. It gets booed again. She says, I'm not going to strip him of the title. He's going to do the right thing next week, and he's going to come on Raw and surrender the championship himself, because it's best for business. Heath Slater gets owned very quickly by Rusev, and it's not even really a match, but 3MB come out as the Union Jacks again, which is good. This was clever. This is why people don't understand why I like 3MB and hate Santino. Santino's dumb. 3MB, when they do something clever like this, is enjoyable to watch. Santino is being awkward and getting friend-zoned by Emma and playing with a sock puppet. 3MB gets handed something like, hey, your fourth member is going to be a midget. and the midgets are going to wrestle, and you're going to job to them, and they still make it entertaining. They come out in the UK, they're rockers, so now they're, you know, UK punk rockers, whatever. It works. Of course, all three of them get their asses handed to them by Rusev, and Lana gives another Vladimir Putin promo. You know, the world keeps spinning, shall we say. The Shield cut a promo. They address Roman Reigns' stitches, and Roman Reigns reiterates, "Is that all you've got?" They address the new stipulation on their match at Payback, which is Shield versus Evolution 2 is going to be a no-holds-barred elimination 6-man tag match, which is fine. They address the fact that Seth Rollins is going to face Batista tonight, and nobody but WWE officials is allowed to be at ringside. They address the whole, you know, we're sick of this, you know, 20-on-3 bullshit from basically the little heel jobber squad that's been helping Evolution out, which is not really doing anything for anybody, because all it does is point out that those guys are the heel jobbers with nothing to do, which is never, never, never a good thing, is it? The next Beat the Clock Challenge match is RVD versus Alberto Del Rio, which is good, although I'm a Rob Van Dam fan, I will admit that he was slow as hell in this match. But it was still a good match. I really wish Alberto Del Rio was in a higher place. I really do. I either wish that this is one of the few times that I will say I wish there was still a world title, or I wish he was fighting for a #1 contendership to a Intercontinental Championship that meant more. Does that make sense? A new time is set of 4:15 by Rob Van Dam. He is the new he has the new time to beat. There is an ad for NXT TakeOver, which is the NXT special event that's happening in 2 weeks, where Tyson Kidd is going to take on Adrian Neville, and apparently Tyler Breeze is going to take on Sami Zayn. I don't know. We're also getting the finals of the new NXT Women's Championship tournament, and Kalisto and El Local are taking on the Ascension, which is all very good and all very fantastic. What I take away from this, though, it's nice to see people on Raw boosting NXT, other than looking at somebody like Paige or somebody like The Shield and saying, hey, these guys used to be on NXT. Let's actually, sorry guys, you know how my sinuses are. Let's actually talk about the show how it is currently, not just say, oh, okay, these guys used to be on that show. It's good. It's a step in the right direction. Cena cuts a promo, and he brags about how smart he is because he's got the Usos to have his back again. And this is really, it really makes me sad for the Usos, because they're really, the Usos, the way they're portrayed here, are really kissing John Cena's ass, which doesn't make any sense, because the Usos have gold and John Cena doesn't. He has his new green shirt, so obviously the Usos have to have their ring attire shorts match his shirt. They have to have their green face paint match John Cena's new shirt, because, you know, John Cena is there to sell us merch. And then they do the weird, if any of you have seen The Wolf of Wall Street, where they're sitting at the lunch table and the boss is telling the guy how to be ruthless and sell bad stocks to make money, and he just says, you know, grab him by the heart, and then he starts doing this weird thing, dumping on the chest, and there's like this, I don't know exactly how it goes because I've only seen the movie once, but they did that on Raw tonight. These are supposed to be the baby faces of baby faces, and they're quoting a bunch of ruthless stock guys from a movie that we're not sure how many people have actually seen it. And John Cena is admitting that he needs backup to fight Bray Wyatt, and oh, it's just, it's all around bad, and he's coming off really, really arrogant for a face. I mean, I know it's John Cena and that's par for the course, but, you know. Rollins versus Batista. The match itself is irrelevant. Triple H comes out and announces that he's going to be the official ring announcer. Randy Orton is going to be the official timekeeper. Seth Rollins grabs the microphone and says, I can beat you on that. Let me introduce you to your official commentators. And Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose end up on commentary. I think it's funny that JBL asks them how they became official commentators when somebody that would make that kind of decision is Triple H. And they say, why don't you ask Brad Maddox? He's currently in the training room. How did he get there? I put him there. I think that's fantastic. I think everybody is excited about Dean Ambrose being on commentary. I think with the short little sound bites that Roman Reigns gives in the promos, in the Shield promos in general, I think his work on the mic, it isn't spectacular, but it's kind of underrated. The match is what it is. Little guy versus big guy. Rollins being faster than Batista. Batista looked really awkward in this match, I'm not going to lie. Not going to say that he didn't do some good stuff. But Triple H pitched Rollins off the top turnbuckle at one point, and Ambrose and Roman... when it breaks down into a brawl, Ambrose does this really cool thing where he runs across all the tables to jump and clothesline Orton. It's a nice looking little spot. Triple H hits Rollins with a shot in the face. That actually causes the DQ. Rollins is technically your winner, not that it matters. In the scuffle, Roman Reigns spears Batista once again and would have eaten the Justice Bomb if the other two members of Evolution hadn't pulled him out and taken him away. Shield, stand tall once again. And here's the thing, there's a lot of people out there, IWC, YWC, most of them are just pissed off at me for Daniel Bryan stuff, but they're going to try and tell me that this feud is going badly because the Shield shouldn't have asked for the rematch because they won the last match. No, the Shield are the young upstart underdogs. They want to go out there and prove once again that their one win wasn't a fluke. Especially after Triple H has been saying, yeah, you got lucky once. So it makes entire sense that the Shield would want to go out there once again and prove that it wasn't a fluke. It's the same as when you win a title, you immediately have a rematch with the guy you took it from because they have their rematch clause. You want to prove that you are the legit champion. It wasn't just a fluke and you weren't just better than that guy on that one day. It does make a lot of sense if you can take your blinders off. Paige versus Alicia Fox is fantastic. Paige is a great champion. They've been boosting her like crazy. I love the way they've introduced her, and they've introduced her to look strong. Alicia Fox, at the same time, has come out of obscurity with this random aggressive new character that is making her number 2 in the Divas division right now, when you consider everybody else is just kind of fighting over boyfriends or fighting over TV time on a reality show. They start off the match trading super kicks to the face, which is nice. Paige responds by going crazy with the whole primal scream a la Melina back in her heyday. But those primal screams are accompanied with really dirty looking headbutts, which is nice. Fox spear. Okay, here's another good looking spot. They brawl to the outside a little bit. And when I say brawl, I mean a brawl for a Divas match. They throw each other around outside for a little. But there's this wicked spot that they do where Alicia Fox spears Paige into the guardrail, then sets her up on the guardrail so she can kick her off. It was a really good looking spot. They go back in the ring, they wrestle some more, they do some generic back and forth. At one point, Alicia Fox has her in a headlock that Paige counters into the Paige turner, which we think is going to be the victory. It only gets a 2 count. She does this thing where she tackles her into the ropes, but she's laying across the center turnbuckle, so you figure her side or her back or something would have actually hit the post. And it's a really awkward position for her to be in, and it takes her a second to get out. And in that second, Alicia Fox hits her with another big boot in the head, drags her out into the center of the ring, takes her time to go for the pinfall, so you think she's going to kick out. She actually doesn't. She looks actually like she's had her bell rung. Now Alicia Fox, who's this new reborn aggressive Alicia Fox, has a victory over the current Divas champion. So now, in theory, we should have this match again at Payback, which means we're going to have an Intercontinental Championship match at Payback. We should have Cesaro versus Sheamus at Payback, and we should have Alicia Fox versus Paige at Payback to go along with the elimination, with the no disqualification elimination 6-man tag and Bray Wyatt versus John Cena 3. We really don't need Daniel Bryan. No. Moving on. The Wyatts cut a promo about the Usos joining John Cena's crusade. Oh, sorry. After the match, Alicia Fox flips out again, even though she won. This time, she takes the King's crown, proclaims herself to be the Queen, walks along the rampway, or not the rampway, the aisle, where is it? The railing between the ring and the crowd. She walks along the railing in the crown, proclaiming herself to be the Queen, and dumps somebody's drink on herself while she's celebrating. I mean, I'm all good with a wet t-shirt contest, but she didn't even have a t-shirt on, so I don't know what we're supposed to take from that. She's flipping out last week because she lost. She's flipping out this week because she won. It's a little interesting. I mean, I guess they figured, okay, AJ was crazy. It works. Now we'll have Alicia Fox be crazy, and that'll work. And Paige can lose her shit sometimes, and that'll work. And when AJ comes back, she can be crazy, and we'll have some sort of asylum match, or something like that. That's what's going to happen. The Wyatts cut a promo in the back, and when I say the Wyatts, I really just mean Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper, because Eric Rowan doesn't really say anything other than, run. They talk about how the Usos are joining John Cena, and John Cena thinks he's so clever, when really the Usos, who are brothers by blood, are just being fools, and, ashes, they all fall down. The last Beat the Clock Challenge match is Ziggler versus Henry, and it goes to a draw, which is bullshit because it's like 2 or 3 seconds. It's within 2 or 3 seconds of Ziggler getting a pin on Mark Henry, and instead it ends in a draw, which means nobody wins. Which means that RVD is coming out to... RVD is going to be facing Bad News Barrett at Payback, which is fine. He comes back out, he looks at his own face on the Titantron, he's giving himself thumbs up, which is kind of awkward. RV, clock to the back of the head. Bad News Barrett cuts the most arrogant, almost babyface heel-ish pro-UK promo ever. Obviously, he's got some bad news for Rob Van Dam. He's going to win at Payback. You know, you're coming for my title, you're going to lose, yada yada yada. We have an interview segment with Renee Young and Adam Rose in the ring, and it's fine. He introduces Ethan the cheeseburger, he introduces the nurse, he introduces the bunny and wants the bunny to dance. It's all good. What is your big deal with Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter? I don't have any problem with them. I just want Zebby and Swaggy to have a little bit more fun and not be such lemons and be rosebuds and all this sort of... Zeb Coulter comes out, cuts a promo. It's fantastic because he's angry and he got embarrassed, and now he's going to challenge Adam Rose. Which, of course, leads to Jack Swagger attacking Adam Rose and the Rosebuds, but he's quickly dispatched by Adam Rose. They go on celebrating. I think Renee Young got lost somewhere in the shuffle, and that's okay. Renee can get lost in my shuffle any day. It's fine. It's wonderful. Adam Rose is, I think, also debuting on SmackDown. We get a reminder that Bo Dallas is debuting this Friday on SmackDown, if it actually happens this week, and we get told that Hulk Hogan is going to be on SmackDown this Friday, which is fine, I guess. Cena versus Harper is a brawl, and... it's another generic Cena main event. There's not really much to say about it. Wyatt took once it breaks down into a brawl, which you knew it was going to. Bray Wyatt, in 2 fluid motions, gives the Sister Abigail to both Usos, which, you know, please, you know, this is your punishment for associating with Cena. Please move along. Then the numbers game eventually does catch up to John Cena. Even the Golden Boy has to surrender to the numbers game eventually, because, you know, the only one that's allowed to beat up 3 people in one night is Daniel Bryan. And even John Cena isn't Daniel Bryan. Let's be real, guys. Come on. Come on. It's in the book. He gets Sister Abigail in the ring. They take him to the rampway, and one of the Wyatt, Luke Harper, throws John Cena up the ramp into Eric Rowan, who gives him basically a Samoan drop. Oh, at one point in the match, Luke Harper does the Michinoku driver to John Cena. And I'm actually surprised that they called it the Michinoku driver, because there's a big difference between Taka Michinoku and Luke Harper. But that's what it is. Once again, another Sister Abigail on the top of the rampway by Bray Wyatt. And he sings... He's got the whole world in his hands while Luke Harper slowly counts to 10. This match at Payback is going to be phenomenal. And to those of you that are saying, oh, this rivalry's going stale, fuck yourself. We have been waiting for this to happen to John Cena in a believable, convincing, and relevant way for 10 years. 10 years of unquestioned dominance by John Cena, except for CM Punk, I will give you that, has finally been quelled by a new face like Bray Wyatt, and it's fantastic. And look at how the crowd has absorbed it. Look at how the crowd has adopted it. Look at the crowd from tonight's show. Look at that, like I said before, that wave of light that happened anytime Wyatt was anywhere near the vicinity. Tell me it's not gold. Look right now at Shield versus Evolution. And where that's going and where it's been and how they're building that story. It's fantastic. Look at how they've built up... Okay, they didn't do anything for their tag team division tonight. I'll give you that. But they built up the IC division. They built up the potentials for the US title situation. And they pretty much handed us our next #1 contender for the Divas Championship. The mid-card is being boosted. Excuse me. The true main eventers are being boosted. Payback is going to be amazing. They're giving a lot more shine to NXT. Everything is good right now. You know why? Because we don't have 5 or 6 fucking segments being taken up by Daniel Bryan. Oh yes. Anyways, guys, That's about it. That was Raw. I thought it was a fantastic show. We didn't have any Total Divas on the show tonight other than Summer Rae, and she wasn't in there as in the capacity of being like a Total Diva. She has her own story going between her, Layla, and Fandango, which is fine. I can forgive it. There was no stupid comedy. There was no midgets tonight. There was no Great Khali, no Santino, no anything like that. Really, the comedy that there was the Union Jacks, and they got dispatched in, what, 2 minutes? This was a good show. This was a good show, and it was a great show as far as building to Payback, which I'm going to say has the potential right now to be the best B pay-per-view of the year so far. Yes, I'm saying that, and yes, I understand that that is a bold statement, because there's, you know, Elimination Chamber is a thing, but there's nothing but good on this show, and I see people bitching online, and, you know, my computer's beeping at me as we speak, and I'm sure everybody is trying to nitpick apart, this show wasn't good because so-and-so wasn't on it, and we know who that so-and-so is. The fragile B-plus player who's not going to be the champion very much longer. Oh yes. Anyways, for those of you that can take those blinders off and appreciate this show for what it was, thanks for enjoying this review. For those of you that have anything else to add to May's edition of Ask the Phoenix, you guys know the deal. Go back a couple of videos to the last Ask the Phoenix, toss your questions there. The response has already been fantastic. Like I say, I'm pretty sure I'm up to about 100 questions for Ask the Phoenix for May 2004. That is fantastic. You guys are all great. Thank you for continuing to support this channel. Thank you for enjoying my Raw review. If you think I'm absolutely batshit crazy, you know you can put it down in the box below. But I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations, ask me your questions. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.
You're a freak like me.